Welcome to That Game Show, the awkward, inappropriate, random podcast that occasionally talks about games.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to That Game Show. I am Chase Bunker, joined as always with Kyle Helmstetter. Kyle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm guessing right now, because I saw that you were already online prior to when I got home, and it wasn't anticipation of recording. I'm guessing you're still playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Whoa. No, I was just really happy to record today because we haven't recorded in a while, and I've been really sad. And no, I'm still playing Baldur's Gate, man.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like you don't feel emotions.
Whoa, I'm not ginger.
Yes, you are.
Not really. I'm like 20% ginger. My beard is ginger. My chin doesn't have feelings.
Your chin is definitely ginger. Your hair has a bit of a reddish tint to it. I'll accept 25%.
How
about 30?
27.
All right. I want everybody, if you're listening to this on any podcasting platform, I want you to go to the YouTube page, youtube.com/thatgameshow. Watch the video. Watch some of the previous videos as well. And I want you to tell us what percentage of Kyle is ginger.
Should they see my...
No.
Okay.
No. We've got plenty to talk about. Starfield just came out, so we're going to talk about that. Some of the things that we're going to be excited about. I don't even know if we're going to have time for a lot of the conversation, so I don't want to tease too much stuff. But let's talk about Baldur's Gate real quick, because I know it is you don't have the luxury of, spending all day for a week straight to play Baldur's Gate, which is what, a lot of the reviewers have. Like, a lot of reviewers can actually, they could kind of, binge through it, and you don't have that kind of luxury. So I would ask you, how is Baldur's Gate so far, and how many hours are you in right now?
So phenomenal. It is an absolutely amazing game. Let me look at Steam right now to tell you how many hours I'm in, because I think I crossed the 100-hour platform not too long ago. But I may have exceeded that actually more than that. Let's see. Baldur's Gate, I'm currently I'm at 91.4 hours of playtime.
Wow. Okay.
I believe I'm the highest on my friends list of people for hours. No, I'm sorry. That was a complete and utter lie. I'm actually not even... No, I'm definitely not first place. Or second, or third.
What about fourth?
I am fourth.
Okay.
I wouldn't get a podium if this were the Olympics. But then again, if this were the Olympics, well...
I had a Steam friend, as we talk about Steam friends, I had a Steam friend message me, and it was a guy that I played Team Fortress 2 with years ago.
Nice.
And he just messaged me, and he goes, hey, I just want to let you know, I kickstarted a board game. Feel free to check it out or not. And so, I checked it out, and it's like, okay, it's called Pocket Samurai. It got funded, I think he's I'm trying to remember. I think they were asking for $3K, and they got well over that. I think they're in the over $10K now. And so I saw it, and I was just like, oh wow, okay. And so obviously I kickstarted it because it was a cheap game, and it was funny just because it was this one person I haven't talked to in forever that I only was friends with just because of one particular game, and now it's oh, okay. I'm going to help back your product, even though I haven't spoken to you in probably 12 years.
That's what friendship is sometimes. Someone comes out of the woodworks, and you got to decide, is this an MLM scheme, or do they genuinely need money from me? And you know what? Only your heart will tell.
That is way too true. I hate how accurate that really was.
Yeah, dude. Listen, what was the last time you knew me that I gave you a bad comparison, right? If we go back to Missionary Sex, and when we talk about Atomic Heart, it was an on-point comparison. We talk about right now, right? Same kind of thing. We could talk about Starfield, which we should talk about.
Yes.
And how that game was released, and everybody was acting like it was a gourmet meal, and we all somehow forgot that it was being served by, like your standard, not even your food truck employees. It's because a food truck, they hit you with that surprise level good. This was served by like upper level, I would say like preparatory academy cafeteria workers.
Okay, I don't know how. Well, let's dive into that a little bit. I want you,
Wait, Baldur's Gate first. Hold on, we're on
yeah,
Baldur's Gate still.
We're still on Baldur's Gate. Like we're like just starting off in the list, and you want to go halfway down. So
that's not true. You got me derailed with the comparison.
Yes.
Because you mentioned the game. Anyway.
Baldur's
Gate. Oh my gosh, it has been incredible. I'm a huge D&D fan. I play a lot, and so this was like a super welcome thing for me. Man, the time that they took with this game and just the love that they put into it, you can really feel the work that they did on it. It's incredibly well done.
Have you had sex with a bear yet?
Why is everybody asking me about sex with the bear? I don't know which bear it is. I've tried on multiple bears, but I haven't been successful. In fact, if it has a hole, I've talked to it in hopes that it might fornicate, and I've been wrong more times than I've been right.
Are you really playing Baldur's Gate then if you haven't done that yet?
Yes. There are other things that you can bang that have holes and make noise.
I am afraid of how far we're going to take this. So
that's okay, you can censor it.
I'm going to just simply ask the question, how close is it to Divinity Original Sin? Because that is a game that my wife wants to play, and I feel like that's going to eventually be the gateway to Baldur's Gate.
Well, you're comparing, I would say, a little bit of an apple to an orange. They're both fruits, I agree. Divinity Sin 2, you're going to see comparisons that the work that they put in is immaculate. They really do try hard when it comes to making these style of games. I will say, from the limited amount of stuff that I played from Divinity Sin and into this, it's not that Divinity Sin is bad. It's not. It's not a bad game at all. It's actually it's very well done. But Baldur's Gate took everything and I would say stepped it up a few more levels. Like, the things that were good are now fantastic. And the things that were already really good, they still managed to find a way to make them just a little bit better. I'd say it's just polished. Like, everything that they did, they didn't just reskin Divinity Sin and release it as Baldur's Gate. They took things and they amplified them to a higher level. That's what makes it so, I think, so well crafted.
So I'll ask you, is this your game of the year, or are you still giving it to Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh, no, this is absolutely my game of the year. 110%. There's no question in my mind. This game completely takes the cake for game of the year for me.
Okay. So speaking
of... steals it.
Really? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Do you think that... Because it's looking like right now, it's a two-man race between Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate. I'm still unsure about Starfield. Like, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But do you think right now it's just going to be those two? Or do you think right now Baldur's Gate is probably pulling away and it's probably going to be them?
I'll admit I do think that it's a fan base thing. It's definitely not that the ball was dropped on the Nintendo half, right? But everything being said and done, I really just don't think that it compares the same way. I think Baldur's Gate really does capture the storytelling, the interactables, the music, the attention by the studio. I mean, that they're putting out patches constantly. They're communicating with their fan base. Like, they're genuinely taking a lot of time. Like, I just think, as good as Tears of the Kingdom was, as, well done as it was, I don't think it contains the same oomph factor, in my opinion, that Baldur's Gate has. And now that's what's going to... Ultimately, I think Baldur's Gate's going to end up getting to this level that's, like, it starts to get overrated just because it's so good that people, like, talk it up. And then, inevitably it's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, yeah, it was really good, but... Well, I don't know if it's as good as people say.
It was good, but...
But hold on, but come on, man. Like, chill with the comparison. No, it will get there one day. But I don't think that there's a game right now that touches it this year. Just with how immaculate they've ended up doing with it. Now there are little things that make it like, but being a single player game that has multiplayer capacity and done well as well, it just blows everything else out of the water, in my opinion.
Okay. Speaking of games of the year, Starfield came out finally. I know that was a game that like this was weird about Starfield. So when Starfield was announced, and it was like up until about maybe a month or two ago, everybody was like, "Oh man, I'm so excited for Starfield! Like I think it's gonna be my game of the year. I love Bethesda, blah blah blah." Like they got like super amped for it, and then like as it kept getting closer and closer, they were just like, "Oh, I think it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be glitchy. There's gonna be so much bugs. Like it's gonna be so unpolished." And then the game came out. And then everybody's like, "Oh, wow, this is great." I mean, who would have thought? Like, they all just got surprised that the game was actually good. Like, I don't understand that discourse of it.
I don't know how you feel. I feel like it came out of nowhere. Like, out of the blue, people got incredibly hyped for this game. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have been, because it's Bethesda, and I like, you know that I like Bethesda. We've enjoyed the games that they put out. Like, I love Fallout. Skyrim was obviously a gem. You know, I have nothing bad to say about Bethesda. They are Bethesda can, not Bethesda can't. But they do have released games that are, like, buggy. And they operate on an engine that ends up kind of looking like doo-doo. I mean, what, would you go back to Fallout 3 and say this game looks beautiful?
I mean, no, because that's how many generations ago? Like, that's at least 2 generations ago. So
even Fallout 4 doesn't look bad by any means. They upgraded the coloring and all that stuff. But, you know, it's like, that's kind of what Bethesda is known for, is like giant open worlds where everything is interactable, dynamic, you know, environments, well thought out gameplay that doesn't always execute itself the way they thought it would. We don't have to talk about the VAT system in Fallout 3. A little bit better in Vegas, but still pretty bad for the aim down sights features. But, like, you know, they genuinely put a lot of thought and heart into what they're doing too. But the games never look what I would say like incredible. The detail on them ends up getting overwhelmed by how big the world is. That's the same thing Starfield ended up doing. Like, it came out, and I feel like out of nowhere, people were like, this game is going to be the greatest game probably ever. And I'm like, whoa, when did we start loving this? I feel like because it's space. We were like, oh my God, space? You know where I've never been? Space. You know what's probably really freaking cool? Space. Space is pretty cool.
I think anytime I hear this is going to be the greatest game ever, I don't want to say I scoff at the notion, but I just have very low expectations for it. Because anytime that there has been somebody saying this is going to be one of the greatest games ever, it was for Duke Nukem Forever, and it was for the first Destiny game.
Boy, I forgot about Duke Nukem. How could I forget about Duke Nukem?
Yeah. I think
Destiny was special. It was
Destiny 2 fixed a lot of things, but I think a lot of people forget how rough the first Destiny game was at launch.
Was Destiny rough at launch, or was it just short? Because I thought it was like a well-executed game. It just ended up being incredibly short.
I think it was rough in the beginning. I
don't remember, honestly. I never really played Destiny 1. I played a little bit of 2. But I remember the big complaint was people finished that game, like, not only within the day, like, they were done with it within hours. And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty bizarre.
Destiny 2 is, I think, the game that they really wanted. Like, that, because they just keep expanding it. They just keep adding more and more and more to it.
They do. I think they kind of caught on to how they need to go about it. And the player base will never be the same. But, like, I feel like their execution's been pretty solid at this point. The ratings seem good. I'm not honestly sure, but they didn't poop in a handbasket, light it on fire, and then proceed to sit on it. So that's good.
But going back to Starfield at hand.
Yeah.
It's funny been seeing this discourse, but then also like looking at the reviews. Like, I first saw IGN's review. I saw IGN gave it a 7. I saw that GameSpot gave it a 7. And it was from two people that like, okay, I tend to trust their reviews. And I was like, oh, is Starfield not going to be like this stellar game that everybody thought it was? And like, was everybody going to be right? And then all of a sudden, I'm starting to see 10, 10, 10, 9, 10, 10, 10. And so I think my initial thought, and it's something that I fall victim to sometimes, and I think a lot of people do the same. People look at 7s and think, oh, this isn't a good game. Like, actually, it's still a good game. It's just not stellar in some people's eyes. And I wonder if Starfield could be for just, I don't want to say a niche player, but like, if you like Skyrim and you like space, this is what you're going to get.
You know, that's the most motivational thing you've ever said. And you want to know why?
Why?
Because there's a lot of 7s in this world. There are a lot of 7s, right? They are pretty, and they've got potential. They are not 10s, and they are not Baldur's Gate. But you know what? There's a niche out there. There is a niche of people that will love and worship the ground you walk on, no matter how flawed you are. It doesn't matter if you've got a few bugs that end up kind of crashing their, your life and theirs, because that's comparable to the bug crashing the game. And it doesn't matter that your file size is probably pretty big. I don't know how big it is. It's probably pretty big though. But that's okay, because someone out there will make a mod where you will get naked. And it will be questionable, probably. But that being said, there's still a niche out there for you. And if that isn't inspirational, I don't know what is.
Chase Bunker.
I wonder what that meeting was like when they said, hey guys, how about we do this sci-fi game and have like 500 planets?
Kyle Helmstetter.
Todd Howard at his desk just rolls slowly with the sun shining on his face ominously, and he goes, "No, we're gonna do over 1,000. I want Skyrim in space."
That's impossible! No game has ever produced over 1,000 planets!
We're Bethesda, not Bethesda can't.
This is That Game Show.
So, Kyle, when we were preparing for the show, we're really doing this. For context, for those who don't know why he is bewildered right now, I saw this article on IGN, and I feel like I should get Kyle's thoughts on this. Are you ready for this?
I can't promise I'm not going to say the F word.
All right, great. Excellent. Cup Noodles unleashing caffeinated, gamer-friendly version of its famous noodles on Japan. You've heard of Gamer Fuel, but what about Gamer Noodles? This is by Kat Bailey of IGN. They're not as different as you might think. For one thing, they're both caffeinated. As reported on CNN, Cup Noodle has announced a truly harrowing gaming variety for Japan, available in a gaming-friendly, rainbow-colored package that recalls RGB lighting. Gaming Cup Noodle will be available in garlic and black pepper yakisoba varieties in Japan. Crucially, both versions will be soup-free, meaning you don't have to worry about damaging your controller or console. They'll be caffeinated, providing additional energy for all-night gaming sessions. Nissan Foods calls the new variety, quote, the strongest buff meshi, with meshi meaning meal. Gaming Cup Noodle is part of a long tradition of, quote, gamer foods on both sides of the Pacific, from G Fuel to Jerky XP. I did not know Jerky XP was a thing.
No, this was a thing.
That it took this long for a cup noodle to make a gaming variety is actually rather surprising. The brand has long been closely associated with games, with its in-game sponsorship with Final Fantasy 15. Yes, that is very true, and it provided a massive buff for me to beat one of the bosses, being one of the most famous examples. It's fast, it's easy to heat up, and now it's caffeinated too. Gaming Cup Noodle will be available for 280 yen if you buy the black pepper flavor, and 298 yen if you choose the curry flavor. No word on whether Gaming Cup Noodle will eventually be released in North America, but we can only hope. Again, that is Kat Bailey from IGN.
First, good article, Kat. I do feel informed. honestly had no idea this was a thing. Secondary, this is not at all a reflection of the article. What the fuck is cup noodle?
Wait, have you seriously just never heard of cup noodle?
No, I haven't. That's why when you earlier said you want to talk about cup noodle, I'm like, you talking about noodles in a cup? We got Marchusen or some whatever the hell brand that is. You know, the guy with the smiley face looks like Mr. Pringle, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
That guy makes the ramen that I know. I don't know who the hell cup noodle is coming in here with caffeinated noodles and like that.
You
Cup
are
noodle?
you are really, I don't know if you're just like angry or bewildered or what. Like, I'm just surprised that someone's like, you know what we need? Caffeinated noodles.
That's not soup. We need caffeinated, not soup noodles. You're eating a little bit of both. Noodles that have coffee but not coffee in them. And it's a drug? What? I'm angrily confused. This is anger confusion. Because I don't understand who cup noodle is. I don't understand why we looked at something and said, you know what that food needs is caffeine. Also, what does it even mean it's not soup? That's what ramen I thought was like a soup with noodles. Noodle soup. I'm not the recipient of food or cultural things.
What is
But I don't understand.
what is upsetting you more? Is it the lack of soup or the caffeine in noodles?
It's all of it. It's the existence of this thing. The black pepper and the curry both sound good. At first I was like, wait, no. But now I'm thinking, I'm like, they do sound good. But what does it even mean? Like, am I going to take a bite out of it and it's just going to be like, I don't understand. Like, what is it? How does this a thing? It's a bowl of not soup, but noodle that is caffeinated. Is it like Mountain Dew noodles? Did they freeze Mountain Dew and they put it through like a processor and made it like gelatinous? And then they put it in a bowl of black pepper and they said, bon appetit, which is not.
Could you imagine,
Japanese.
instead of putting water in your cup noodles, you just put in Mountain Dew instead?
Do you think there's someone out there that won't do that though?
I'm pretty sure there's.
You look me in the eye and you tell me that there's not some fat mother eller out there that will not do that.
Oh, I know that there's people that's probably done that. I live in America.
Bro, people make mashed potatoes, and when they run out of milk, they use chocolate milk. Do you understand the travesty which you just incurred upon yourself? You can't use chocolate milk to make potatoes. You might as well take, I don't know,
You're about to trigger one of my things now, which is like, you know how like when everybody got a smartphone, they're like, oh, look at me, I'm a photographer, and they're just like taking pictures. And I think what the pandemic did was just take that, but with like everybody's culinary skills. And they're just like, hey, watch me make this chicken breast medium rare. And also like, hey, why don't we do macaroni and cheese, and we're gonna top it with raw chicken, and then it'll cook itself in the cheese. Or like, we're gonna take this roast beef and wrap it in bacon. We're also gonna wrap it in like a cow's hide. Like it's ridiculous stuff like that. And
I've seen those ones. They take the raw meat and they'll put it in like a piece of bread, and they'll make a bread bowl and they'll put it in the oven, and it comes out and they'll be like, and ta-da, look at that. And I'm like, you didn't cook the meat.
I hate is the person that takes like the big block of cheese and then they just like encase it in meat, and then like they just shove it in the oven, and it's like, that's not done. And also like that just looks nasty. And I think what's even worse is like, it's usually like a white girl with her friends, and they're like, oh my gosh, that looks so good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got food poisoning watching this.
It was a great article. I do feel informed. Like, I've learned something very new today. I'm not mad about the article. I'm mad. I don't understand. Like, I don't know who cup of noodle is. I don't know why they decided to do caffeinated noodles. I don't understand why we did this. Why didn't we do I don't like tea. Tea's already caffeinated. Why do we make a gamer tea? Call it, I don't know,
GT.
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 But instead, we looked at noodle and we said noodle tea. Or noodle G.
Yeah. G noodle.
G noodle. Noogle.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
All right, but okay, but that's what
But
it
that,
is.
but that
right?
could have been the
Make
Final
that
Fantasy
shit weird.
crossover. Instead, you got the Boogles, now you got the Noogles, and it's just all noodle people.
There it is. The crosses occurred. And that'll be their promotional. It'll be like, hey, pre-order Final Fantasy like 25, and you can have a skin that's a Noogle. It's a cross between two things.
Yeah. That cup noodle quest in Final Fantasy 15, it's so blatant, like product placement. Like, it's ridiculous, but it gives you like one of the strongest buffs in the game. And I'm not kidding.
That way, otherwise no one would do it. And then it'd be pointless.
It'd be good for like completionists. Like, that's about it.
My confused anger is faded into just acceptance. Acceptance smoldered. It's embers in a fire that are just stomped on, and they're just going out in the face of Noogles.
Well, on that note, thanks a lot very much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe, rate, and review. It helps out the show greatly. You can follow me on Twitter at Chase Bunker. You can follow Kyle on Instagram at Scandinavian_sensations. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to leave a like and tell us down below again how much of Kyle is ginger. Also, feel free to subscribe as well so you can pay attention, or so you can get notifications on some of our videos, because YouTube does a good job of hiding all of our stuff.
So will all of them, in fairness.
Yeah, that's also very true. All the music you heard today is courtesy of the band Power Glove. For music, tour dates, and merch, visit powergloveband.com. For Kyle Helmstetter, I'm Chase Bunker. Thank you all very much for listening, and we'll talk to you all in the next episode.
Eat some Noogles, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you check out more episodes on iTunes and on our YouTube page, youtube.com/thatgameshow. And follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/thatgameshow.